like, you know what? Like, why would you want to be there, you know? And then looking at it, like, you've been shading me since the first episode. Like, I didn't know, like, you know, it's just a lot of things were going on behind my back that I did not know about. And I was just kind of hurt and shocked by it. And I just wanted to let her know, like, I'm not a pushover and you ain't gonna get away with it.
Let me tell you, Sweet Tea has finally spoken up and she's not holding anything back. The drama is real, the tension is thick, and the truth is hotter than ever. If you've been keeping up with Married to Medicine, then you already know that Sweet Tea's journey hasn't been smooth. From the moment she stepped onto the scene as Dr. Gregory Lunsford's new wife, things were rocky. She entered a tight-knit group of women who had already built strong bonds over the years. And let's be honest, most of them didn't welcome her with open arms. Instead of kindness, she was met with shade, judgment, and a whole lot of whispers behind her back. The drama started early, especially with Quad Webb still being around. That alone created a lot of awkward tension.
Medicine star Letitia is slamming Dr. Mimi on social media, claiming that people behind the scenes were trying to have her film at Dr. Mimi's office in order to make her look crazy. So in response to what a comment said that Dr. Mimi and Steve were not her friends, she says, "We were never real friends. They were cast and we were asked to invite them onto the show. There were even plans for me to film in her office, which I refused. I heard it through the grapevine that they wanted to have a storyline with me, seeing Mimi and painting me to be crazy. Funny how some call themselves, quote, real friends, yet plan an entire season without even consulting you of what the plans are."
At first, it seemed like Dr. Heavenly, or Dr. Mimi, as some fans call her, was one of the few who genuinely supported Sweet Tea. She gave her advice, comforted her, and looked like she truly wanted her to succeed. Sweet Tea even leaned on her for encouragement when things got too heated. But now, it seems like that friendship might not have been as real as we thought. Sweet Tea is spilling secrets, and they've changed everything. At the beginning, Mimi gave off the impression that she was standing firmly by Sweet Tea's side. She encouraged her to focus on her marriage, ignore the noise from the other ladies, and even defended her a few times on camera. But then, something strange started happening. In her confessionals, the interviews shown separately, Mimi's tone shifted. She said things about Sweet Tea that didn't match her supportive attitude in public. One moment, she'd tell Sweet Tea she understood how it felt to be the outsider. But in her private interviews, she was saying Sweet Tea didn't belong in the group, calling her too emotional and unable to handle the pressure.
This is my home. Like, why? I mean, it's bothering y'all more than it's bothering me. This is my home. You know, it doesn't really matter. Oh, who cares? It was their old marital home. It was his home first. He moved her in. And then she left. And then that was it. It was still his home. So, you know, it wasn't like me coming here and it was a bunch of pictures of them. No, everything was empty. It was my blank canvas and I got it decorating and all.
Fans noticed the flip-flopping right away. Twitter and Instagram lit up with people calling Dr. Mimi two-faced and accusing her of playing both sides. It wasn't long before viewers began to question how real her loyalty was. And then came the bombshell. Sweet Tea took to Instagram and posted a confession that sent shockwaves through the fanbase. She didn't hold back. In her own words, she said, "We were never real friends. They were cast, and we were told to bring them onto the show." Read that again. That one sentence turned the entire story on its head. Suddenly, the drama wasn't just about Dr. Mimi and Sweet Tea, it was about the entire show. According to Sweet Tea, her relationship with Mimi wasn't authentic at all. It was created specifically for television. If that's true, then everything we thought was real might have been completely fake from the start. This raised even bigger questions. Was Mimi and her husband, Steve Sanders, just acting the entire time? Were they truly trying to build relationships with the cast? Or were they only there to look good on camera? And if production was behind pushing these fake friendships, how many other relationships on the show are just for show? Fans were stunned. But believe it or not, that wasn't the end of it. things got even more intense. Sweet Tea went on to reveal that it wasn't just about fakeness, it was about sabotage. She claimed that Mimi and some of the other women were working together behind the scenes to ruin her image. According to her, there were talks about setting up scenes to make her look unstable. That's right, she said, there were actual plans to stage therapy, like sessions in Mimi's office to make her appear mentally unwell on camera. That's not just shady, that's calculated. Sweet Tea said the goal was to get her to open up emotionally, just so they could twist it later to make her seem unhinged.
He appeared on an episode earlier as friends of him and Quad. Obviously, he was married to Quad. I couldn't find the episode. Whatever y'all put in the chat was wrong, so I couldn't find it. And I went back and I'm like, look, somebody got to give me the exact episode or close, to the right episode, because I just couldn't find it. But this is what T said. They were cast and we were asked to invite them onto the show. There were even plans for me to film in her office, which I refused. I heard it through the grapevine that they wanted to have a storyline with me seeing Mimi and painting me to be crazy. Now, I done told y'all over and over again that this is what they were trying to do.
And if that's true, it's beyond hurtful, it's downright cruel. Imagine thinking someone is your friend, only to find out they may have been plotting to embarrass you on national television the entire time. Naturally, social media exploded. People were furious. Some fans said they felt completely misled by Mimi, who had always appeared like the calm, mature one. One user commented, "Mimi really fooled us. She acted like she was helping Sweet Tea, but she was just collecting information to use against her." Another added, "Sweet Tea walked into a trap and is only now seeing the truth." These women are powerful manipulators. It didn't stop there either. Sweet Tea started to feel more and more isolated as time went on. The group slowly began to close ranks, and she was being left out. Dr. Mimi, who once offered her support, was now growing closer to Quad and the original cast. She stopped defending Sweet Tea as often and began acting distant. Quad Web made it obvious that she didn't want Sweet Tea there. From day one, she treated her coldly, often throwing jabs and making passive-aggressive comments. And when Sweet Tea was introduced as Dr. Gregory's new wife, Quad didn't hide her feelings. She even threatened to quit the show if Sweet Tea stayed. Instead of standing by Sweet Tea during all that, Mimi became more cautious. She didn't speak up as much. She didn't challenge the group's negativity. And slowly, it looked like she was turning her back on the woman she had once claimed to support. Some fans believe Mimi chose to side with the original cast to protect her own spot on the show. By getting close to Quad and the Oggs, she secured her place in the group. From a strategic point of view, it makes sense. But from a friendship perspective, it's a major betrayal.
About that, I don't know anything about that. Mimi may have tried to set up, I don't doubt it. Shit, I need to sit in Mimi's office. There are a lot of people. Mimi is a good psychiatrist. Like, you could tell, she really acts like a doctor on the show. She's clinical. She gives people, but don't be diagnosing me on no reality TV, Mimi. But I think that Mimi is true to her craft. So I don't know anything about that. Like I say, even with Phaedra filming with us, with them, I didn't know that Phaedra filmed anymore. All I do know is at the Met Gala, I wasn't even there. I mean, at the diabetes event, they said that Phaedra came. I wasn't there because me and Quad left early. They say Phaedra came, but they didn't even play her because she had no reason to be there. They did one more scene with Phaedra. I ain't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. I ain't know nothing about it. So I thought that was it for her after the couples trip. But yeah.
And just when you thought things couldn't get worse, Sweet Tea dropped another truth bomb. She didn't just point fingers at Mimi. This time, she came for the entire production team. She said the way the show was being filmed and edited was designed to make her look bad. According to her, producers were purposely cutting scenes to show her in a negative light while making others seem like the victims. We've heard reality stars complain about editing before, but Sweet Tea took it a step further. She claimed producers were encouraging the cast to target her. If that's true, then she was never given a fair shot from the beginning. It would mean she was set up to fail before the cameras even started rolling. But here's the thing that makes Sweet Tea different. She didn't just sit back and take it. She spoke up. Loudly, she went public with her side of the story. She didn't let the producers or the other women control the narrative. She stood up for herself, and that takes serious courage. Now, the big question is, what's next for Sweet Tea? Will she stay on the show after everything she's been through? Or will she walk away for good? Right now, it's unclear. On one hand, it seems like she's been through enough to justify quitting. She came into this expecting a fresh start, maybe even a new sisterhood. Instead, she's had to fight for every inch of respect. But Sweet Tea doesn't seem like the type to back down easily. If she leaves now, it could be seen as giving up, and that's not really her style. At the same time, reality TV can be harsh. If she feels like it's damaging her real life, she may decide it's not worth the emotional toll. But there's always the chance that she'll return next season stronger, wiser, and ready to take on anyone who tries to bring her down. The next question is, if she does return, who will be in her corner? Right now, she seems to be on her own, but that could change. If some of the women start to see the truth in her story, or if new cast members come in with fresh perspectives, Sweet Tea might finally find some allies. It's also worth remembering that Quad nearly quit this season too. If Quad leaves the show, the group dynamics could shift dramatically. Without her influence, Sweet Tea may finally have the breathing room she needs to stand on her own. So, what do the fans think? Well, opinions are definitely split. Some viewers believe Sweet Tea was set up from the very start and deserves another chance to prove herself. They think she should come back, if only to show the others she won't be broken. Others believe she should get out while she can. They feel that staying will only lead to more hurt and that the show isn't the right place for her to begin with. After all, no one deserves to be constantly ganged up on, especially not on national television. One thing's clear, though this story is far from over. Sweet Tea is making sure her voice is heard no matter what anyone else says. She's calling out the fakes. She's pulling back the curtain. And she's making it known that she won't be anyone's pawn. Let's just take a step back and really think about everything we've learned so far. Sweet Tea thought she had a friend in Dr. Mimi, only to find out that friendship might have been created by producers. Then she learned there may have been a plan to make her look unstable. And now, there are claims that the show itself was edited to destroy her reputation. That's a lot for anyone to handle. Dr. Mimi smiled in her face, but said something entirely different behind closed doors. So now we have to ask the real question. Was Dr. Mimi ever really Sweet Tea's friend? Or was she just playing a role the whole time? Was Sweet Tea brought into the group just to be the outsider, the one they could all turn on for drama? Or is this just part of the messy world of reality TV? Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Sweet Tea was set up? Or is this just how things work on shows like Married to Medicine? Either way, this isn't the last we'll hear from Sweet Tea. One thing's for sure, she's not done talking. And something tells me the real tea is still yet to be spilled.